The abandoned mansion had stood at the edge of town for as long as anyone could remember. Its Gothic spires pierced the sky, casting long shadows over the leaf-strewn lawn. The windows were covered in dust and grime, and the front door hung slightly ajar, as if inviting someone inside. No one dared to enter. But for Melissa, the lure was irresistible. Rumors of strange happenings, of people entering and never returning, only fueled her curiosity. As an amateur photographer with a fascination for the eerie and abandoned, she saw the mansion as the perfect subject for her next project. Armed with her camera, she crossed the threshold and entered the dim, musty interior. The air was thick with neglect. Cobwebs stretched across the high ceilings, and the wooden floors creaked beneath her feet. As she explored, she came across a room that was different from the oppressive parlor, its furniture covered in white sheets. In the center of the room was a dollhouse, an exact replica of the mansion she now stood in. Melissa was immediately drawn to it. Every detail was precise, down to the worn curtains and the broken windows. Kneeling in front of it, she felt an uneasy thrill, as if she had discovered something secret. She carefully lifted the roof of the dollhouse to peer inside. Each room was meticulously crafted, with tiny furniture and miniature portraits on the walls. But what caught her eye was the dolls. They weren't the typical porcelain figures one might expect. These were unsettlingly realistic, their faces twisted in expressions of fear. They were positioned in various parts of the dollhouse, as if frozen in mid-motion. One at the dining table, another near a staircase, and a third by the front door. Her fingers hovered over the doll by the staircase. It looked oddly familiar. The more she studied it, the more her heart raced. The doll was dressed in the same outfit she was wearing. Its hair, its feature set was her. A cold shiver ran down her spine. Her breath quickened as she backed away from the dollhouse. The air seemed to thicken, pressing against her like an invisible weight. Then, she heard a faint creak from the staircase behind her. Turning slowly, she saw a shadow move at the top of the stairs. It wasn't possible. She was alone in the house. But there, in the dim light, a figure was descending the steps. It moved with an unnatural stiffness, like a marionette pulled by invisible strings. The face, blank and expressionless, was a grotesque version of her own. Panicking, Melissa turned to flee, but her feet wouldn't move. She glanced down and saw her legs had stiffened, her joints locked in place. Her skin felt tight, unnatural. She looked back at the dollhouse, and in horror, she saw the tiny version of herself was now standing by the staircase, frozen in terror.